Democrats' repeated failures to repeal the death penalty in Colorado keep coming at the hands of fellow Democrats. Former Governor John Hickenlooper reportedly worked behind the scenes to prevent a repeal bill years ago, and then today, for a fifth time, a death penalty repeal ended when Democratic legislators were divided. Politics guy Marshall Zellinger is on jury duty today, so Katie Eastman's covering the Capitol for us.
And Kyle, one of the bill's sponsors, Democratic Senator Angela Williams, said she didn't want the bill to go to a vote because there were still 4 to 5 Democrats who hadn't told her where they stood on it. So without the reassurance it would pass, she didn't want to risk it. Republican State Senator Owen Hill was happy to see the delay this year. Senator Williams faced criticism from him. He said sponsors were trying to rush the bill through. Williams already has plans to run the bill for a 6th time next year, with hopes she'll get a clearer picture on where her fellow Democrats stand. But some lawmakers want it to be up to voters, and Williams doesn't support that.
I would not consider a referred measure. I believe that we're elected as state legislators, and there are times when we act as delegates, and there are times when we have to be trustees of the people of Colorado. And I believe that the people of Colorado expect us to vote on these tough issues and represent them.
And Democratic State Senator Rhonda Fields was one lawmaker who wanted the measure to be voted on by the people. Her son was murdered by 2 of the 3 men who are on death row in Colorado. The death penalty hasn't been used here since 1997. Kyle?
We'll be talking about it next year for sure. All right, Katie, thank you. If Republican State Senator Vicki Marble gets northern Colorado to secede and become the 51st state, one of the things I'd miss are her keen observations on race. Senator Marble made national news in the past for linking problems in the black race to fried chicken and suggesting that Mexicans stop eating their vegetables when they come to the U.S. Loosing Marble on race relations is always interesting, and today she took to the Senate floor with a passionate defense of white men. And can I just say, it is about time that someone stood up for my people. Consider this statistic. Only 50% of the last 2 American presidents have been white men. Only 50% of the last 2. Dig into the numbers, and it gets even more bleak for white guys. Did you know that a white man hasn't won the popular vote for president since 2004? Well, shameful. Senator Marble rose today in opposition to an equal pay resolution. Marble saw right through its flowery language about how women should be paid the same wage for the same work as men. No. Marble saw that resolution for what it is. Another attack on a terribly marginalized group, white dudes.
And I just can't take part in something that is so focused against a white man. Because frankly, I feel white men have done a lot for this country and for this legislature, as all men have. And I want to thank them. And I really want to say how grateful I am to be working side by side with all of you.
Can I get an amen? It is not a women, it's amen. Senator Marble knows that we white men have been working our pasty backsides off for generations. And what do we have to show for it? Well, there's the fact that men are paid more than women for the same work. But I mean, besides that, how about a little appreciation? You know what I'm saying? Senator Vicki Marble gets it. On this equal pay day and every day, the real victims in this world are white guys. Do not be fooled that the legislature's Democrats at the Capitol keep putting off the final vote on their sweeping oil and gas regulations. Those are still expected to pass. Governor is going to sign them. And remember, when he does, state regulators can put into effect an immediate and indefinite hold on any new gas permits, oil and gas permits statewide. Ryan Frazier has left the Republican Party, the party where he ran for Congress twice and also worked on our air as the 9 News Republican political analyst. As Frazier now runs for mayor of Aurora, he tells me that he's become an independent. And how about this? He's working with a familiar face, 9 News Democratic political analyst James Mejia. Frazier and Mejia faced off about politics on 9 News years back. Well, now Mejia is advising Frazier's campaign for Aurora mayor. Frazier said he left the Republican Party so that he can, quote, think and act freely in service of others. He said that being an independent, he thinks, is going to allow him to better bridge differences in the community. November's election for Aurora mayor is a nonpartisan race. The field of announced candidates also includes former Congressman Mike Kaufman, a Republican. So if President Trump makes good on his threat to close the southern border with Mexico completely, ports of entry and everything, that could have a decent-sized economic impact in Colorado. We took a look at the numbers, and 12% of Colorado's imports come from Mexico. The State Office of Economic Development and International Trade says the top 3 categories of Mexican imports in Colorado are industrial machinery and computers, rubber-based products, and electric machinery. Food and produce not in the top 3. That surprised me. 17% of Colorado's exports cross the border south going to Mexico. Meat, aluminum, and industrial machinery and computers were Colorado's top 3 exports to the south. The newly elected head of the Colorado Republican Party is back at his day job. Today, Congressman Ken Buck, back in Washington, suggested at a judiciary hearing that requiring Christian doctors to treat gay patients would also force Jewish doctors to treat Nazis.
Should that doctor be required to take that patient?
I think that there's some people here that could answer that a little bit better than I could, but I think that everyone should be treated equally.
Mr. Buck, if you'll yield, I'm happy to answer that question.
I will not yield. I will not yield. I reclaim my time.
Oh, okay.
I will not yield. Professor Coleman, I have a question for you.
Gentleman doesn't want an answer. He doesn't have to yield.
Well, that's a nice cheap shot from the chairman. I appreciate that. I didn't know the chairman
Not a cheap shot. It's a real shot.
Eventful day job. The Democratic congressman who was trying to interject there was attempting to tell Congressman Buck that Nazis are not a protected class under American law. Today begins street sweeping season in Denver. So here's how this works if you're new. The city's street sweepers make the rounds and they sweep money out of your pocket and into the city's general fund. They are carefully calibrated for precision. They will take exactly $50 from you each time you don't move your car on the designated day. Last year, the city swept away your money 161,000 times per tickets, raised more than $8 million. People who parked in one really congested area of Cap Hill came out to find their whole car swept away today. The city tows in that particular neighborhood on the first street sweeping weeks of the year, but fear not, your car shouldn't go far.
Those that are calling going, oh, my car's been towed, by the time you get finished with that phone call, your car's probably already back on the block. It's not might be where you parked it, but it's on the same block.
The city says that it tows in that particular part of Cap Hill because the parking is so limited, they never get a clear street. Not everybody ever moves their car, so they'll tow once so that they get at least one clean sweep every year. This is from 11th to Colfax, Logan to Clarkson, and again, it's only for this week. You will hear a lot of conversation this month about child abuse prevention. Every day, though, there are people dedicated to helping kids in our community that find themselves in dangerous situations, whether they're police officers or child advocates. Tonight, we hear from a woman who doesn't wear a badge or a uniform, though she's still doing important work. She's honored at the Capitol today as an unsung hero.
April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. It's an opportunity for us to really talk about how do we support and strengthen families in order to prevent child abuse and neglect from ever occurring in the first place.
There's tons of unsung heroes all over Colorado. So you should see lots of pinwheels throughout Colorado as a symbol of those people that are working really hard to prevent child abuse.
The unsung heroes that we recognized today were truly just individuals that care about the people in their communities.
So my name is Megan Finesilver. I received an award today for being an unsung hero for my efforts in the Closet Cooperative. I'd really like to put a face on foster care and let other people know that there's lots of families out there that are working really hard to either reunite families or just give a child a safe home. I love being a foster parent, but I would love to be less needed, and preventing child abuse is how that's going to happen, how we're going to alleviate the pain that children are going through.
So when people see pinwheels, we want them to be thinking about how to support and strengthen families, and that it is everyday actions, small or large, for our neighbors, our friends, our families, our community members. Those everyday actions that strengthen families, that help the good outweigh the bad. And so that's what our unsung heroes are doing every day.
And please know, you don't need to be working in that field to help protect kids. If you see something that doesn't seem right, something that pings your danger meter, you can let the experts at the Colorado Child Abuse and Neglect Hotline sort it out. Their number's there on the screen, 844-264-5437.
It's really up to the community to tell us what's important to them.
No one has said these century-old silos are worth saving, so they're due to be demolished. She was brought to this country illegally. Now she's headed for Yale. And it's a sign. Neighbors helping neighbors. Next.
Welcome back. In spite of the cloud cover, a mild afternoon. Temperatures close to 60 for many areas. We're waiting on some rain in Denver tonight. Temperatures will be very similar tomorrow, even with another stronger storm moving into the region. As that trough of low pressure lifts over Colorado, it's going to pull in some cold air from the north. And that upslope flow will mean that the rain could mix with snow in the foothills. That's tomorrow afternoon. But it could also mean some convective activity on the far eastern plains in the form of some weak thunderstorms. Tonight, scattered snow showers on the I-70 corridor. Brief rain showers in Denver. They move out. We go partly sunny tomorrow. Late day showers again with a couple of embedded thunderstorms on the plains. Nothing severe. And then up in the high country, not enough snow that we have winter weather or travel advisories. And so as we get you through this Tuesday night, we'll call it cloudy. Prepare for a little bit of rain and our low at 38. Another round of showers tomorrow with highs very similar to today. We kick off the warming trend Thursday, close to 70 for the Rockies home opener. Mild for Saturday. Isolated showers on Sunday. And the clouds really make for beautiful sunrise and sunset shots. This one, Kyle, coming in from Douglas Mountain.
Love that. Thank you, Kathy. It is a sign that signs are important. Read sign. It says $25 fine. Christy Morin spotted this off Broadway in Maple in Denver. It's just a sign that tells you to read the other signs. It is catchy. I mean, come on, you're going to read it, right? They're referring to the parking permits on the one side of the street, but as we talked about earlier, you want to pay attention to that street sweeping sign as well, or else it'll sweep that $50 out of your pocket and into the cities. For years, if you got lost in Denver's Baker neighborhood, you could just look up and find that giant green Rio Grande sign. Won't be able to do that much longer. Denver's landscape continues to change. This is just one little piece of that story. Here's our Noel Brennan.
With its size, it also has a very kind of sleek form.
They peek over rooftops and might steal your mountain view.
Those series of 3 silos.
The silos were never subtle, but they're historic.
This is definitely an iconic structure for the Baker neighborhood, but also for Denver.
John Olson of historic Denver wishes he could save the old Rio Grande coal silos along Santa Fe Drive.
It's going to be coming down, and we're very sad to have that happen. It's sad because it's a part of our industrial past that we are losing.
We get about 670 applications a year for demolition.
The story of the silos is one of hundreds Denver landmark preservation digs into every year.
It's really up to the community to tell us what's important to them.
If a structure slated for demo has historical, architectural, or geographic significance, you can save it. But no one submitted landmark designation paperwork for the silos.
And we didn't hear from anyone in the community. And at the end of the 21-day period, we approved the demolition application.
History is not always pretty.
I definitely know that there are people out there that think it's an eyesore.
But you never know what you'll miss until it's gone.
This is the time to really have that conversation about what's valuable to us as a city.
For Next, I'm Noel Brennan.
Rio Grande's now a building materials company. They just haven't had a use for those silos in decades. This isn't going to happen tomorrow. There are still several steps in the process before those silos come down.
A student's letter to her family after Yale sends her a letter welcoming her to the Ivy League.
You guys are the reason I'm able to do everything I do.
The long journey of Jocelyn Arguelles, and a tribute to one of the most fascinating people we've ever met on Next.
$170 students in Denver public schools have been accepted into Ivy League or highly selective schools come fall. Harvard, Princeton, Stanford, Yale. 170 students. 4 of them came out of DCIS Baker. One of those students has had an untraditional path to her current success. She has DACA status. She's here legally after being brought to this country illegally as a child. She shared her story as an open letter to her family.
Hola Ma, hola Pa, Gaby, Papá Pao, Mamá Lipa, Julio. Muchas gracias por todo lo que han hecho. You guys are the reason I'm able to do everything I do. Ma, trabajas muy duro para darnos todo. No estuviera donde estoy si no fuera por ti. Eres la persona más fuerte que conozco y yo sé que dejaste toda tu vida por traernos aquí, pero espero que te sientas orgullosa y que sepas que mucho de lo que yo hago es por ti y my accomplishments are yours. My grandparents, gracias por decirme sus historias y no dejarme olvidar de dónde vengo.
Tuition at Yale these days is $72,000 a year. Jocelyn Arguelles is going to pay $4,000 a year. So after scholarships, almost a full ride. She's going to school to study sociology, and she hopes to someday become a public defender. The most Colorado thing we've seen today is a gorgeous scene out of Evergreen that one guy tells us reminds him of the new state logo. I don't know, what do you think? Yeah, if you got to flip it around like that. I see what Alex Cursis is saying. He shared this photo with Next. He says, look, Colorado's new logo came to life in Evergreen. I'm still not sure that I'm a fan of the new logo. It kind of looks like clip art to me. Buddy Jared on Twitter had the best quote yet. He described it as, Rainbow Pac-Man got you, Shy Tree. I like the scene in Evergreen better anyway. What's the most Colorado thing you've seen today? Share it with the hashtag HeyNext or email next@9news.com. Your feedback and a tribute to an iconic leader from Northern Colorado, one of the most interesting people I have ever had the honor to meet. Next. A baby Instagram star is paying tribute today to a heroine from Fort Collins. Janelle Wexler has an account where she dresses up her daughter Liberty like all these different iconic women. And today she posted a photo of Liberty as Temple Grandin for World Autism Day. You know Grandin, she works up at CSU, professor of animal studies, internationally known for her contributions to the livestock industry. Her methods of humanely handling animals are now industry standard. Grandin became successful as she overcame the challenges that autism presented in her life. And she talks about this frequently now, including how different kids need different paths to success in life. Was honored to host her here on Next. Honestly, one of the most humble and approachable superstars in this world that you will ever meet. If you have the occasion to hear her speak, please go listen to Temple Grandin. Carol Allen writes in tonight, ooh, you're extra salty. It's probably because I was off yesterday. I had a little bit of that stored up. Regarding the commentary on State Senator Vicki Marble's comments that she didn't want to vote for equal pay for women because of the plight of the white man, Steph writes, buckle your chin strap for email, white man, but it was damn funny. Spring writes, haven't watched Next for about a week, don't know if absence made the heart grow fonder, but man, am I loving tonight's show. First the struggle of the white man, then the street sweeping the money out of your pockets. Spring says, keep up the good work. Although Ann says, pretty sure you're giving it your best shot at getting fired from 9 News tonight. And I give it my best shot every time.